Malware can record your conversations, Trump is under fire from Congress representatives, and connected car apps are vulnerable to hacks. All that coming up now on ThreatWire. Greetings, I'm Shannon Morse and this is ThreatWire for Tuesday, February 21st, 2017. Your summary of the threats to our security, privacy, and internet freedom. This show is now on iTunes as well as your favorite podcasting apps, thanks to our patrons over at patreon.com/ThreatWire. So make sure to subscribe, and now on to the news. The security firm CyberX researched and discovered strong malware that was used to steal information from over 70 infrastructure, media, and scientific research outlets in what seems to be a very large cyber reconnaissance operation. CyberX found the malware in the wild and reverse engineered the data to start an analysis. Now, while the installation of the malware was rather simple, all the hackers had to do was send a phishing email to the target with infected Microsoft Word documents attached, and of course people opened them. The actual malware itself was quite advanced. It's able to steal audio by activating the microphone on machines to listen in on conversations, along with taking screenshots, stealing documents and passwords, and uploading it all to Dropbox of all places. Now, once the data was on Dropbox, the attackers could download it. They coined this operation BugDrop, and this malware tallied to have stolen more than 600 gigs of data from specific targets. CyberX pointed out in a blog post that microphones are virtually impossible to block from surreptitiously recording, as on many PCs, you would need to physically access the hardware and disable it. The targets were mostly in Ukraine, and while CyberX has not named any potential attackers, they do consider this to be a state-sponsored attack, given the sophistication and the manpower that it would actually take to analyze all of the data. A few also appeared in Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Austria. Now, many of the targets were in separatist states that the Ukrainian government labeled as terrorist organizations. Now, so far, no ransomware or viruses or infrastructure shutdowns have happened as an effect of Operation BugDrop, but since reconnaissance is usually a first step, this could happen in the near future. Today, in This Week in the Trump Administration, a server associated with President Trump's website, aka server2.donaldjtrump.com, was hacked and defaced by a hacker calling him or herself Pro Master, and that's a 3 instead of an E in the name. The server has now been taken offline and has not taken down their regular .com website. Now, while this was occurring, Trump has also been under fire for continuously using a personal Android device instead of a secured phone that the Secret Service issued around the time of his inauguration, along with other cybersecurity shortcomings. Congressman Ted Lieu signed, along with 14 other congressmen and women, a letter to the House Oversight Committee to investigate Trump's cybersecurity measures and practices. Since his phone is most likely an older model Android that no longer receives updates to the Android operating system, it could put him and the U.S. at risk. This, along with discussing sensitive information in the same room as bystanders and reading confidential materials by the way of a cell phone camera flashlight, brings concern. Representative Liu's letter asked for proper training on security and privacy for the White House staff, along with checking into what devices Trump uses day to day and if any monitoring has happened to government communications. RSA happened last week in San Francisco. It's basically an annual security conference where researchers will speak and then the companies will vend. Kaspersky Labs malware researchers Viktor Chebyshev and Mikhail Kuzin, I am terrible with European names by the way, so I'm sorry if I pronounced those incorrectly. They gave a talk about several Android apps for connected cars and how they all had pretty big security holes. Android apps for connected vehicles can be used to locate the car, unlock the doors, start the engines, do over-the-air updates for car software, connect to the entertainment systems, and a lot more. The researchers found 2 of the apps asked users to log in with unencrypted credentials, meaning that they are plain text and could easily be stolen. Spear phishing could also allow for fake malware versions of the car apps to be installed on a user's phone. The researchers have not released info on which apps are susceptible to hacks, but they hope that their research sends a clear message to the industry. Worst case scenario, you download a malware-ridden copy of your vehicle special app. It allows an attacker to unlock your car door and they steal your car, if your car doesn't need a key to start the engine, of course. Or they could just tote it off on a tow truck. It's not that bad, right? Before I go, I want to give a huge thanks to everybody who has supported the show so far on Patreon. You have made it possible for us to create a video RSS feed for iTunes along with your favorite podcasting apps. And as usual, if you find value from this, you want to spare a few cents per episode, please consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/threatwire. We post a lot of extras and I love talking to all of our patrons. Really appreciate your contributions. We may even feature your adorable fur babies like these ones in a new episode. You'll get access to extra content, an audio RSS feed, and new perk levels as well. I hope you will consider contributing to help us keep this coming completely independent and ad-free. And of course, if you cannot donate, a like, a share, a subscribe, all goes a long way too. And you can find all of our episodes, links to our social networks, and other ways to contribute over at threatwire.net. And with that, I'm Shannon Morse, and I will see you on the internet.